ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलह प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आविश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, Verse number 3. This is Prahlad speaking. After Lord Nrsimhadev, he asked him to take some boon from him. And he said that he is the best giver of boons, can take anything from him. So then Prahlad started speaking. He said that please do not try to entice me in these material things. I am already afraid of it. And I want to get freedom from entanglement, and you are asking me to take. So it's like somebody suffering from diabetes and you say, take this sweet. And you say, no, I don't want, then you give him another one. Okay, take this one then. So you keep on offering sweets. So that is the situation of Prahlad. He says, I am sick of all these material objects and you are saying, take more, take more. So then he says, Bhritya Lakshana Jigyashur Bhaktam Kameshva Chodayat Bhavan Sansara Bijeshu Hridaya Granthishu Prabho. So he says that actually you are only trying to test me, whether I am fixed in my devotion or not. Otherwise, why would you do that? So Kameshu Achodayat, you are trying to inspire me, encourage me in sense objects. Sansara bijesu hridaya granthisu. So these sense objects, they are the seeds for the samsara, for the material world. So seed means which will give you some fruit, and fruit has seeds. Because these days you can make seedless fruits, but then Monsanto here controls you to buy again from them. Otherwise you have seeds, you get fruits, and then you get more seeds, more fruits, and that is what is called samsara. And this is the Hridaya Granthi. This is the knot in the heart which keeps you tied. So you cannot get out from this material world. Because you are where your heart is. Right? So if your heart becomes tied to the samsara, then you cannot go to the Lord. So that is the situation of people here in the material world. Their hearts are tied to something. Everybody has some catch. There is something hanging, some attachment, some attraction, some desire that in future I will get this. So everybody has some bondage. So this is the knot. This is what keeps one tied. So he says all these things which you are asking me to take this boon, that boon, they are all Hridaya Granthi. They are the cause of bondage. But obviously you don't want that I fall into it. You are just trying to see how fixed I am. Whether I have come to the Nishtha platform or I am still hanging before that. So viewed Vikalpa. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says that Nanu Kimaham Bhaktam Pralobhyami. In the previous one verse, Prahlad was saying Mamam Pralobhya, that please do not entice me. So Lord says, oh, so you think I am trying to entice you? You think I am so low class that I will entice you? You are my devotee. Why would I do that? So then Prahlad says, no, you are not doing that. Svabhaktasya sarvotkristam nishtham loke khyapayami ityahibhrike. He says that you want to actually establish, you want to show to people how your devotees are fixed, nishtha, that how they are staunch in their devotion and nothing can shake them. Not that little problem and then you are already shaking, right? Just little bit problem and you start freaking out. Why it is like this, why it is like that, why I have to do this, why am I doing this. So, not like that. So he wants to show how a devotee of the Lord is completely fixed and nothing can move the devotee. So that's he's saying. He says, Maya diyamanan varan katham ne grinasi. So Lord asking that why you don't accept the boons which I am giving you. What is the problem? Ityukte madbhritya eva madbhrityasya lakshanam kathishyati. He says that only my devotee will tell the definition of my devotee, not me. So he wants that Prahlad speaks what a devotee is. And that's what he is speaking. So he wanted that the definition of a devotee is given by his devotee only. Because he is the best who can do. Kathishyati iti abhipraya tab avgamyate iti bhava. So he says, this is what I understand. Prabhuriti sarvagyasya tab jigyasa nopapadyate. Ityata sarvan gyapyitu meiva iti bhava. So So sometimes people think that now Krishna is testing me. Right? Many times people say, oh no, this is a test from Krishna. Actually, Krishna never tests anybody. He has no need. Testing means, I don't know whether you will pass or you will fail. So he knows. So why he has to test? Right? Testing means trying to figure out where you stand, how much strength you have, how much devotion you have, how much your mind is stable. So that is testing. So Krishna has no need for that, because he is already in your heart. He knows more about you than you. He even knows those things which are hidden in the unconscious mind. So therefore, he never does anything like this. But if he wants to show to others how my devotee behaves, so that others can learn, then he may put his devotee into some situation to show to others. So that's why Prahlada has to undergo all this tribulation, so that one can understand how fixed the devotee is. So therefore he says that it is only my devotee who will tell what is my devotee's definition, and Prabhu Riti Sarvagyas. So he is calling him Prabhu. So Prabhu means who knows everything. So if he knows everything, then where is the question of testing or trying to find out? So he says, because you are Sarvagya, you are omniscient, therefore there is no possibility that you want to know how I am or how much I am fixed. Akhil Guroho Sarvhitopdeshtu Stav Brahma Rudradi Nami Vaiti. So he says that you are the Guru, you are the teacher of everybody, and which means you do welfare to everyone. Nanyatha te khil guru ghateta karunatmanah yaste ashisha ashaste nasabhritya savai vanik. So he says you are the teacher of everybody. So it is not possible that you will try to give me something material. How can a good doctor give some diet to a person who will become sick by eating it? Even if it is tasting nice. Because sense pleasures may taste nice in the beginning, but they bring only bondage. So why would he do that? He says you are Karunatma. You are not cruel, but you are Karuna. You are very compassionate. And because you are compassionate, you will not give something which is not healthy or which will cause me trouble. So I understand this, and therefore when you are asking me to take some boon, take anything, you have some different purpose. You want to show to others that, see my devotee, he has no desires, he has no kamana. Even when I am asking, he is not taking. And you people, you are always coming and begging. So this is what he wants to show. And then he says, Yaste ashisha ashaste na sabhritya savai vanik. He says, if somebody comes to you and he wants to take something from you, then he is not a devotee. He is a baniya. He is a shopkeeper. Vanik, you know, Vanik. Vanik means dukandar, shopkeeper. He says he is a businessman. he gives you a little bit, brings one incense, some flour, and he gives you, and then says, now you give me. I gave you something, you give me something. So that's what you go to a shop, so what do? You give some money and then you get something back. You don't just give money for nothing. So he says that they are just doing business. They give you something with the expectation to get something more from you. Usually if you pay some certain amount of money, you get a product which actually costs less than the money. Otherwise the shopkeeper is not going to sell it to you. If it costs exactly the same, why is he going to waste his time? He is standing here in a shop. So if he is giving you something for 100 rupees, so obviously it doesn't cost 100 rupees. It must cost less. But when you go to God, then you want to give him something like for 5 rupees and you expect he will give you back 100 rupees. So yeah, that's a good businessman. Right? Little investment and big return. So Prahlad says this is what these people are doing. So they are vanik. They are good businessmen. So tadbruhi dhritalakshanam chet swami bhrityor ubhyor api lakshanam bravimi ityaha yait. So he says, I am giving the definition of both, the definition of master and definition of servant. Both I will define. So then speak. Te tvatta vanigiti tubhyam kinchit patra pushpa naivedyadikam dattva hasti asura adimatim sampattim brahmindradi padam va jigrikshati vibhav. So he says that why do I call them businessmen? He says business person is one who tries to invest little money and get big profit. That is the intention of a businessman. So he says that they bring you some leaves like tulsi leaves, some flower picked from somebody's garden, even from your own, and maybe a little fruit. So they give you that, and in exchange what do they want? That I get an elephant. Olden days, people now use a car. But I get a nice Mercedes, and if not Mercedes, at least Maruti. So next, he says a horse. If not an elephant, at least a horse. Right? So Jarikhanda had one horse. Still there? Yeah? No? You sold it?
No, she died.
Died?
Yes, we have a colleague.
How you died?
In Manolo house. Yes, 3-4 years ago.
So then he says that at least a horse or a chariot, something. And then some people want more. Says, give me the post of Brahma. If not Brahma, make me Indra. If not Indra, like somebody low like Kubera. So these are desires of people. That's why they go to temple. People don't go to temple just like that. You can stay in house and watch TV. I take the effort to go to temple or church. So they are going because they want something. So he says this is called business. So he says Asha Shanona Vaipritya Swamini Ashisha Atmanaha Ne Swami Vrittata Swamyam Ichanyarati Chashisha. So now he defines both who is a servant and who is a master. So there are two types of servant. One is that you do service and then you want something in return. So he says that is not a real servant. Because he is not, servant means one who serves. But he is not serving, he is serving because he is getting money. That's not service. That's work. So he is not a servant, he is a worker. So therefore he says, Asha Shano Navai Bhritya Swamini Ashishatma. That one who desires something from the master is not a servant. That is business. You call him, now you can call employee, whatever, worker or servant or this. It's a business. That I pay you money. Business means I give you something, you give me something in return. I give you a piece of paper, you give me something. Here I give you my time. You give me money. So in business, sometimes you give money and you get a product back. And sometimes you give the product, you get money back. So what servant is doing, that he is giving the product, he is giving himself. He says, okay, you take me for 8 hours. Then you get salary for that. This is a business. So if someone is desiring something in return, that is just a business. There is no Swami, no servant, no master, no servant relationship. So it says, Asha Shano Navai Bhritti. Asha Shano means one who has a hope to get something back. So he is not a Bhritta, he is not a servant. Swamini Ashisha Atmana. One who is looking for some Ashisha, some blessing, something in return. He is not. And na Swami Bhrittya Swamya Michan. And he is not a Swami, he is not a master who is thinking, I am going to lord over this fellow. So one who is trying to control, or exploit, or make use of another person is also not master. He is also doing business. Because he will give him something. Okay, take here few dollars. And then for 8 hours, I will squeeze you as much as I can. So that is not master doing business. Real servant master is that there is no business in all. So na Swami Vrittata Swamyam Ichhan Yorati cha Ashisha. So one who is giving some Ashisha, some blessing, something in return because he wants to use you, then he is not a Swami. So he has given a negative definition, who is not a Swami and who is not a servant. Who is not a master and who is not a servant. He is not said who is a Swami, who is a master and who is a servant. First he says who is not. Because one of the way to understand thing is by knowing what it is not. That is called neti neti. Not this, not this. So he says Uktam Arthameva Pashyati. He now explains the meaning which is said above. Bhritya hetu kamatmanaha swamyam aishwaryam ichhanyo bhrityaya dadati sachayo naiva swami. So bhritya hetukam atmana. So someone performs some seva or some service, so-called service, and that is only to get the wages. So that is not. And Swami is that Ashwarya who wants to use, then, and for that reason he is giving something to the servant, so he is also not master. So he says, Aham tvakamas tvadbhaktas tvam cha swamya anapashrayah nanyatho ihyaviyorartho rajasevakayoriva. So he says, in our case, this does not apply. He says that I am akami. Aham tu akama. I do not have any desire. And you are also a Swami because you are not looking for anything. So therefore, our relationship is not like a king and his servant. So Raj Sevakayoriva. So king has his servants in the olden days. So servants are not doing free seva, they also expect. And king is also expecting because he is giving them something. So he is not thinking that I just give them and they do nothing. So he says our relationship is not like that. I don't desire anything from you and you are also fully satisfied. So we just have exchange out of love. So that is different situation when people do seva. Avyastu Swami Bhritya Bhava Vastvika. It says our relationship of Swami and Bhritya. Swami means master, Bhritya means servant, sevaka. So it says this is real. It is not artificial. It is not a show, externally calling one as master and one as servant. But internally, if someone else pays me better, I go there. Right? And if the servant is not working, or I can find another one who will do the same job with less money, I fire. Right? Yellow slip. So it says that is not our relationship. And therefore this relation is permanent. Because the other one is based on certain cause. And if that cause is not satisfied, that purpose is not satisfied, then the relationship breaks. All relations in the material world are like that. They are having some expectation from each other. As long as the expectation is fulfilled, the relationship continues. When the expectation is not fulfilled, no wife, no husband, no brother, no sister, no father, no mother. So these are all temporary things. But in bhakti the relationship is permanent because there is no expectation from either side. So therefore it's a permanent. Aham tu iti anapashraya sevakadhinam akrishnam ashwaryam nasu. So you are also not depending on the servant to do something for you. You are aptakam, you are fulfilled in yourself. Not that if they don't do service, then you become upset. Anyatha swakamita visandhina tena visandhika swami bhrityam bhavo loke prasiddhopi sopadhitvat vigita eveti dyoti. So he says, in the material world, this relationship of Swami and Bhritya, master and servant, he says it is sopadhit, it is conditional. So as long as the condition is satisfied, the relation continues. When condition is not satisfied, then it breaks down. So now because Lord was saying, take something from me, take something from me. So if he does not take, then Lord will think, this guy is very proud. I spoke 4 verses, I wasted my time. And he's saying, no, I don't want. So So this also shows that a person is very obstinate. Sometimes there are situations you have to do things just to please others. So now because he is asking, and Prahlad does not take anything, and Lord thinks like this. So now he has to also take something. So this is called taking and not taking. So he is very intelligent. This is called sharp intelligence. It says Yadi Rashisha me kaman varans tvam varastar shabha kamanam hridya samroham bhavatastu rnevaram. He says, O Lord, you want to give me a boon, that's fine. Because you are Vardarshabha, you are the best giver of boons. Nobody can give better blessing than you. So I take this blessing from you. I desire this from you, but I have no more desires. So you fulfill my desire that I have no desires. It's very nice. So now you cannot say that you didn't take anything and there is nothing that you have to give because you are saying I don't want anything. I want. What do I want? I want that I don't want anything. So I want, what do I want from you? I want from you that I become that I don't want anything from you. So if you bless me, then I don't have to take anything from you. If you don't bless me, I'm not asking anything. So this is very clever. So he says that I desire that my heart has no desires. Kamanam Hridhi Asanroham. That no desire enters in my heart. He says this is the boon I take from you. This is very nice. Now he cannot complain, Lord cannot become upset that in front of all these people I am asking him to take something and he is not taking. So this is also like an insult. Some great person wants to give you something and you just go on refusing. So that also is like an insult. So he takes. Nanu tathapi mama paramodarasya sukhartham kimapi vrunu iti chetha. So as if Lord Nrsimhadev said, yes, I know that you don't want anything and our relationship is not like servant and master in the material world. So still, because I am very generous, I like to give. So you take something. Not that you need. Not that I am giving you because I want something in return. Just for my pleasure. God says, okay, I take this. And what do I take? I take that I will never desire to take anything. Now what can Nrsimhadev say? So Indriyani Mana Prana Atma Dharmo Shruti Irmati Shri Tejas Smriti Satyam Yasya Nashyati Janmana. So he is saying that why I am taking this boon, that I have no desires, which means no material desires. He says because material desires, they destroy everything. They destroy your senses, your mind, your life, your intelligence, your dharma, your forbearance, your thinking capacity, your bashfulness, your beauty, your prowess, memory, truthfulness. All these things are destroyed by material desire. So if one has material desire, then all these things, they are lost. Because to fulfill material desire, one has to give up some of these things. So yasya kamasya indriyadinam tvan madhurya agrahanameva upatgamita sayavnas. So Krishna Chakravarti is explaining what does it mean that you lose your senses. So he says losing senses means that senses are actually meant to serve Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Senses are called Rishika. Krishna is called Rishikesha. So they are meant to serve him. When you have material desires, then you don't want to serve him, you want to serve something else. So that is the meaning that they lost. As Sonaka Rishi says that the ears which do not hear about Krishna, they are like the holes for snakes. And the tongue does not chant the name of God is the tongue of a frog. Asati jivha dardurik ev. Dardura is frog. So dardurika means frog tongue. Tongue of a frog. So he is croaking and inviting a snake. So snake hears the frog croaking and goes there and says, okay, this is my food speaking. My food calling. So, like that, if we don't use our tongue in singing, chanting the name of God, then we are only inviting death. So therefore he says that your sense is lost. That is the meaning. So losing sense means that they lose the ability to do service, to do devotion. And loss of mind, same thinking, anything but Bhagavan, thinking about so many other topics except about Krishna. And losing life here because you live like a dead person. You are dealing in everything which is dead in life. And you lose yourself because self is meant to be devotee, but you are only engaging self in the inert matter. Conscious person become absorbed in matter. That is death. And dharma, of course people can give up their dharma because they want to make money, they want enjoyment. So why they have to follow? So they do adharmic activities, lose tolerance, do not know what is good and what is not good. And free means to have some shame, so that don't do wrong things. So these people are shameless. And Sri is beauty. So all these things are lost. And smriti, memory. So you don't have memory, therefore you cannot remember God. Cannot remember anything spiritual. All other topics you can remember. So he says this is what happens when the kamana or material desire enters the mind. So for that reason, please take away this. I don't want this. So vimunchati yada kaman manavo manasi sthitan tariyev pundrikaksha bhagavatvaya kalpate. So it says that when a person gives up his desires which are within the mind, then only, O Lord, he becomes qualified to be devotee. So prajahati yada kamam sarvan partha manogatam atmanyevatmana tushta sthit pragyastadauchyate. And Arjuna asked Krishna, who is called sthit pragya, or person of stable intelligence. So Krishna replied that who has given up the kamanas, the various desires which exist in the mind. So then, because mind is disturbed by desires, if there are no desires, then it is peaceful. So desires are like shaking it. So like you have some pendulum or bell, you shake it, and then it keeps on moving. Something is hanging with a thread, so you take it to the side and leave it, and it goes on left, right for a long time. So desire is like that, it shakes the mind. Mind keeps on, and then more desire, more disturbance. Manu yadi kamam na kame se tari van me tab dasya yogam iti dhruvan katham mahya maddasyam kame se tatraheva manusati. So the Lord says that if you don't desire anything material from me, then tell me how you are having dasya yoga, or service to me. And katham mad dasyam kamesi, how do you desire to be my servant? So he says, I desire by becoming fixed in my mind. Manasi sthitan sthai bhavataya vartmanan kaman. Says these desires which are inside my mind, they are permanently ingrained in it. I want to get rid of them. Aprakritans taddasya sakhyadi api yatha yada visheshena munchati bhavatvaya sayujya tatcha sayujyam me nabhishtam kim tair gunvetikara iha yesva siddha dharmaje kim agunena cha kankshitena saram dhikam chaniyav gayatam kim madukte reva ato bhavadasya rupam prakritam kamam hindranai evam bhagavataya bhagavat samanashwariyayati Sri Swami. So he says that I do not want any desire. So one can say, well, what about desire to be my devotee? That is Thai bhav, that is in your mind. That is not material. So to have a relationship of servant, sakhya, etc. So yada visheshana munchati. So if you give them up, then what will happen? You will get Sayujya Mukti. So he is saying that if you give up material desire, that is good, but don't give up the desire to be a devotee. Otherwise you will end up in Sayujya. So therefore he says, Aprakritansta dasya sakhyadinapi yada visheshena munchati bhagavattvaya sayujya tatcha sayujyam me na abhishtam. So that I do not like. Because devotees do not want sayujya mukti. Kim tair gun vyatikarad iha yesva siddha dharmade. So then what to speak? I don't want sayujya, what to speak of any material opulence. That certainly I do not want. And kima gunena cha kankshitena saram dusam charaniyo rupagayatam kima dukte. So he says that what I want is that my mind remain fixed on your feet when I sing about you. Tato bhagavadasya rupam aprakritam kamam. So what I want is spiritual desire in the form of to be your servant. This is what I want. Eva bhagavatvaya bhagavat samanashvaryaya is coming. So then the word bhagavatvaya means to have opulence like Lord, because if one becomes servant of Lord's feet, then he also has opulence like him. But if you serve the king, then you also have opulence of the king because you live in the palace. You eat that food which is given to him. So therefore he says that's what I really want. So I'll stop here if there is any question. Class is over. These are Prahlad's prayers. And now Lord Nrsimhadev was asking to take boon from him and he refused. And then he pressed. So he says, okay, you want that I desire something from you? So he said, my desire is that I have no more desires.
One question, what, just curious, this nanu, what's that word mean in Sanskrit?
Which
Nanu? Nanu?
Nanu means when you want to ask a question, then you say nanu.
So it's like indicating that the rest will be a question.
It's actually a negative question. Like a negative question. Like asking, is it not that? Someone's asking for protection.
So there are two ways the questions are asked. No doubt is that one is nanu and one is nacha. So therefore in Hindi they say, hey, kya nanu nacha laga rakha hai?
Oh yeah?
Nanu nach mat karo. Although people don't know from where this is coming. Nanu nach. They made one word nanu nach.
Nanu nach.
Yeah. Nanu nach mat karo. But actually it comes from the Sanskrit commentaries.
Because in America there was a television program he was playing the role of some alien and he was always saying nanu, nanu, nanu all the time.
Yeah?
But I don't think he was asking questions. Maybe he was asking questions.
Yeah, I don't know what he was
Nano means draft in Italian.
Draft?
Draft. Small man.
Dwarf.
Nano.
Draft is what you get from the bank.
Dwarf. Nano.
And so the real meaning of servant and master is this relationship that he said that the master doesn't expect anything and the servant doesn't.
Servant also. Servant only wants to do service. And master only wants to take care of him. Without desiring anything.
And that doesn't come out of expectation or something. It automatically, naturally happens.
Naturally. So that is the meaning of love. Love means no expectation. Asha hi paramam dukkham. Nairashyam paramam sukham.
मेरा मंत्र है ये मेरा मंत्र है
And so you're always smiling.